life of City Councilor Megan Patton?
Absolutely. So each day is a little different. City council is considered a part-time job, if you can imagine. And so Tuesdays are my dedicated council day. And then other days of the week, I am squeezing in meetings before or after my day job or on the weekends. But on Tuesdays, I tend to have a lot of constituent meetings. So I am I'm dropping my daughter off at school, and from there on out, I'm in it, and I tend to be meeting with constituents about questions they might have in their community. So maybe they have an erosion issue they're hoping to solve, or traffic calming needs that they want to talk through. So I'll meet with them about that. Sometimes I meet with our staff to get more up to date on some kind of decision we have in the pipeline, just to make sure I understand the policy we're about to set, or make sure I really understand the details of the options that are on the table. And then we typically have some sort of council meeting, and those are streamed to the public, and we sit at our fancy dais and talk into our microphones. And each week there's a little bit of a different meeting type. So on the first Tuesday, it's our bigger and longer meeting, and we have all our public hearings in the evening. Sometimes we have a work session where we're taking in information or giving feedback but not voting. And then we have committee meetings, and so those are where a smaller group of council members takes a deeper dive on a particular topic before sort of reporting back to the full council with our thoughts on how to proceed. So each week in the month has a different shape.
Okay, great. Could you talk about some of those committees? I know that you're the lead for a couple of subcommittees, I believe.
Yeah, so I serve on the Growth and Natural Resources Committee, which tends to tackle topics related to like our natural environment here in Raleigh. So tree save, tree canopy, parks, invasive species, those types of things, as well as sort of the growth in the city and how development relates to other factors like stormwater and other things like that. So that's the Growth and Natural Resources Committee. I am also the chair of the Transportation and Transit Committee. And so there we talk through topics around if the sidewalks are wide and if our policy on sidewalks is sufficient, or where the buses need to be going, or how a certain development might impact the traffic conditions in that area. And so those are the kinds of topics we take into that committee. There are two others that I don't serve on. We have the Safe, Vibrant, and Healthy Communities Committee, which tends to deal with topics around community cohesion, public safety, and then we have the Economic Development Committee.
Okay. And you've been council person since 2022, is that
That's
correct?
Right. I was elected in 2022, so I just began my second term.
Oh, fantastic, yes. And so I guess in all that time there, what might you list as some of your greatest accomplishments and some of your biggest challenges?
Yeah, one of my proudest accomplishments, and although it's still a work in progress, is our alternative crisis response unit. So this is just an effort to get the right types of first responders to different types of emergencies happening in our city. We know that police have an essential role in our community, but they're not always the best tool for every job. And so this alternative crisis response unit has 4 pillars that hope to get other types of first responders to various emergencies. So we're positioning mental health workers and clinicians in the 911 call center, and we'll get eventually, as the program continues to develop, we'll get social workers out in the field to respond to nonviolent, non-dangerous mental health crises happening in our community.
That's something a very vital thing to have done. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially given the situations we've heard throughout our country, I guess, where we've had firefighters or police people responding to issues that are probably not in their purview, I guess, but doing their best they can given the circumstances.
Yeah, we have to both invest in our public safety workers so that we can have plenty of them, but then also innovate how we respond. You know, we can't, we couldn't hire enough police to do all the things that need doing in our community, but, I think another great innovation has been our civilian crash investigators unit. So if you are in no one's injured, you're just in a mild fender bender, and you need someone to write a police report for insurance purposes, you don't necessarily need a fully trained law enforcement officer to come and be pulled away from, fighting crime.
Right.
And so these civilian crash investigators can come and take the report, take the photos that are needed, make sure everyone is safe and well, and then send you all on your way, which is better service for residents, gets you responded to and on your day
Right.
faster, and also keeps our police doing the things that really only police can do.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. And what would you say are some attributes that make for a really good council person?
There's certainly a wide variety, and I think that's really great across our council. There's a big variety of skills represented. I think council members have to be really skillful listeners. You have to take in a lot of information and a lot of opinions on a topic and parse through what are people saying on the surface, but what are they maybe saying underneath that, and also what's not being said, because sometimes what's unsaid is almost as powerful.
Yes.
You have to be a great listener, to be a good communicator, to be able to communicate complex topics in a simple and short amount of time. I think you also have to be really nimble. Sometimes people want to be communicated to in lots of different ways. So some people like social media, some people want a long-form newsletter or an in-person CAC meeting, and it's our job to stand in all of those places.
Okay.
So
yeah, I guess dealing with the different generation gaps, that probably comes into play a lot. So
yeah, there's different ways that people like to be met with.
okay, great. And my last question for you, I said this would be kind of short. So if you could impart one or two things that residents should know about Raleigh.
Raleigh's a really great place, and we know that sometimes the rapid growth of Raleigh can cause some pain points, but it's also bringing us the ability to keep taxes lower than we otherwise would have. I know sometimes residents don't feel that way, but
Yes.
they are lower than they would be if we weren't growing at the pace that we were. And we try to use that growth to bring public benefits that benefit everybody, like newly paved roads, sidewalks, and I really want residents to know that Raleigh is filled with people who are working to be helpful. Like Raleigh is filled with helpers, both our city staff, they're always looking for ways to just make their service delivery better. How can they make the lives of Raleigh residents better? And they're really skilled professionals, and they're really excellent at their craft. Even on the council, while there's not always unanimity on an individual topic, I really do believe that everyone on the council is trying to make Raleigh a great place to live, and that is really their fundamental motivation and drive for their work on the council. And then your neighbors, everyone who lives in Raleigh, I am always just really struck by how engaged Raleigh citizens are, and they're usually engaging in direct service volunteer work and with the nonprofit community, and they have some topic they're passionate about. And so your neighbors are no slouches. They're very good and cool people.
Definitely. Yes. And that's all I had. Is there anything you wanted to add, I guess, at this point that I didn't ask you?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm glad you're doing Raleigh Neighborhood College, and I want every Raleigh citizen to do it. I think it's a great program.
It is. It's fantastic. I've learned so much about Raleigh, how it functions, the council functions, the mayor's office, city managers, all the departments here. It's just an eye opener for me, and I think it's just really helpful just to know so much about what makes Raleigh tick.
Yeah,
So.
There's so much going on, and it's hard to know it all unless you go participate in something like Raleigh Neighborhood College and get it all sort of funneled to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Megan, thank you so much for coming here today for the interview, and I wish you all the best, and thank you for serving Raleigh. Really appreciate that.
Of course, honored to do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.